Welcome everyone to Zoom into Books today. We are with author Sheila Hurtig Robertson. She is the author of several books about women in sports and sports coaching. We will also be joined by women coaches featured in her book. They are from England, Uganda, and South Africa this morning. Sheila was the founding editor and author for Coaches Report magazine and the Canadian Journal for Women in Coaching, among others. Her honors include the Centennial Medal and Canadian Sport Award for Communications. She was named one of the top 20 most influential women in sport and received the CAAWS Marion Lay Historical Breakthrough Award, which recognizes an individual, group, or organization that has influenced and or broken down barriers to equal participation for girls and women in sports. Sheila is currently director of the Ottawa-based Center for Holocaust Education and Scholarship. She is also an active member of the Grandmothers Advocacy Network. Sheila, you've had an amazing career, and we would like to welcome you to Zoom into Books.
Thank you so much. It's quite a pleasure to be here, and particularly to see Mildred, Dumi, and Evie again. I've been lucky enough to see Evie in person several times since then, and relied on other means to communicate with the rest. There's 19 altogether, so these are 3 of our women. Just to give you some background, because I think it's important to understand how we all came together. It was really, really unusual. The women coaching internship program was actually the brainchild of my husband, who was a senior person with the Commonwealth Games Federation. So my husband, who had the gender equality portfolio, got the idea from some of the work that I had done with a friend and colleague, Sheila Croxon, but on internship programs for women coaches. Brief discussion. He said, is this feasible? I said, it's more than feasible if we can get Sheila involved. And so 4 of us, the 4th being Anne Louise Morgan of the Federation, we sent out requests for proposals throughout the Commonwealth, and then we got a slew of applications and sat down over Zoom and went through and picked 19 women. Now, we knew none of them, and they certainly didn't know us, but we selected them. We thought we had pretty good judgment, and it turned out our judgment was amazing. Nevertheless, if you can picture, in Gold Coast, the first morning we got together, nobody knew each other except Sheila and me, and actually Bruce was in the back of the room, but he was in the back of the room where he belonged, because he was going to be leaving short. At any rate, so they all came in, and nobody was calm and relaxed. We were all nervous, but something happened, and I'm sure they're going to talk about it. Something happened, and it happened really quickly. There was just this lovely feeling of warmth and welcome, and it just went from there. I have never experienced anything like that in my life. I don't think Sheila has. We've talked about it a lot because it's kept the group together 6 years on. So that's the program itself. I will give you a brief. It was designed to make sure that the women coaches would be part of their teams. In the past, very often women would be the bucket carriers or something like that. They never really got to practice their coaching on the field. That was an essential part of this program, that they had to be involved firsthand. It was, by the way, the first of a kind program at a major international event. So that's the background from my perspective. I mean, I could go on, but the reason for the book was we did have a few Zoom calls, and I know it was Dumi, because it's just what Dumi would do. She said, well, if you think we're so great, why don't you write a book about us? And I'm never one to back down from a challenge. I thought afterwards, well, I can't disappoint Dumi. And that was the start of it. I think it must have been a couple of years ago. All I know is that interviews in the darkest of night, trying to get through to endurance in Nigeria, who would stay up till midnight when the lines were better. It was really fun. And the fact that it's actually here and now and we're together is pretty rewarding. So that would be my very quick take on the motivation. It was pretty powerful, I have to say. And everybody was so cooperative. So over to the coaches. And I think what I'd like to do, just to be fair, is I'm going to do it alphabetically so that you all share. So that would mean we would start with Evie Collier, who is from England. Evie.
Hello. Yeah, so I am part of table tennis, and again, the Commonwealth Games was actually one of the first major events that I'd been at as well. When I think back about the meeting or the wonderful women coaches, I still get quite emotional, and I can't not talk about it without a smile on my face. The friendships, and I think the bonds that we formed in that first session. I think 6 years on, as Sheila said, it's still very much still going, and it's so wonderful to still hear the stories and updates from everyone throughout the seasons, whether it's busy periods or quieter periods. Yeah, my memories of the games was, I know I had many discussions with Sheila about this, was, as she said, a lot of nerves. I was very nervous coming into the program, not really knowing what to expect, not knowing sort of anyone at all. And I remember speaking to Sheila in the interview about this, walking in feeling extremely nervous, not really knowing what to expect, and probably a lot of worry, more sort of from myself about maybe, what do I expect, what do I say, what's going to happen. And as Sheila said, I think as soon as we started talking together, and hearing from Sheila and the wonderful speakers that were on, that came in to speak with us, I think a lot of that worry and sort of the nervousness just almost felt like you dropped off your shoulders. And I think we really got into fantastic discussions about the importance of women coaches across all the different sports that we have as well. I know everyone is coming from a different sport, a different experience, different background, different countries. And I think it was just so beautiful to see this collaboration with everyone, and how a lot of the sports still tied in together, regardless of, I know Dumi is from netball and we're from table tennis, but actually the stories that she shared, there were bits that I kind of sat there and went, actually, yeah, that we see that in table tennis. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about the coaching internship program, was that it didn't matter what sport you were from, we all came together with these inspirational stories. And I think that's really what's kept us still communicating now. I know previous experiences where some initiatives are started and maybe after a year they kind of drop off and that's it. And I think it's just testament to all of the wonderful coaches and also Sheila that set up this program for us to have that voice as a woman in sport.
Thank you, Dumi. Next, thank you, Evie. Dumi is next. And I must say, we all know Dumi for her marvelous outfits, for her fashion flair, not to mention her intelligence and her accomplishments, but she is glamorous. And thank you for being glamorous today. Dumi.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for mentioning to people about my outfits. I try, I try to honor special events like this and celebrate them in how I dress as well. So thank you so much. I feel so honored. I could just feel the goosebumps when Evie was talking now and taking us back to, those fateful days. In 2018 seems like such a long time ago, but you know what? It was literally the other day, and that just shows how quickly time goes and how quickly our stories all evolve. And I'm just glad that, we are taking a second to pause in this busy world, connect. You've got people in Africa, people literally, I'm not about to mention all the countries, but I know the coaches that were featured in the book are from 12 different countries. It does not get more global than that. So Sheila, thank you so much for taking up on my challenge. I have a thing for challenging people and I love it. I love it. So yeah, my name is Dumisani Chauke. In South Africa, it's afternoon. I know everywhere else in the world is probably morning or evening. So greetings to everyone. Dumisani Chauke from South Africa, netball coach, netball administrator. And thank you so much for tuning in. I think my story, just to be quite brief, my story is one of a typical girl coming or being born and growing up in a township and finding her safe space in sport. And in this case, it was netball that became my safe space. And one thing that I took away and that I still think about is when we started sharing our stories and our different experiences at the Commonwealth, one thing that stood out is the fact that we might all be coming from different countries, different sporting codes, but the challenges we face as women coaches are quite similar. And that is why I guess the bond was knitted even tighter. And that's why we're still tight to this day and we're still supporting each other. So yeah, I'm a coach, I'm an administrator, I'm a philanthropist, I'm a speaker. I do I do other work with different organizations where I'm ambassador as well, with Laureate Sport for Good, with Brand South Africa, where we're promoting the country using sport. So I don't want to talk too much. I know Mildred is also going to want to speak, and I know you, Sheila, you've got a lot of stories to tell our viewers and to tell everyone that's tuning in from around the world, and sharing all our different experiences. So yeah, that's it from me for now, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Dumi. Well, Dumi, it seems that Sheila has lost her connection. I know that she will be right back with us. In the meantime, let me go to Mildred Gamba. Mildred's been a PE teacher and initially at the Rainbow International School in Uganda. And I don't know if the viewers realize it, but we have people from all around the world with us right now. It's really fun to be able to get together. Those of you viewing on Facebook, if you have questions for the coaches, the author, please type them in the Facebook comments and we'll make sure that you get your questions answered. There's information about Sheila on the Zoom Into Books website, zoomintobooks.com. And this book has made quite an impact on women's sports. And what a rare opportunity to have these amazing coaches with us here today. So Mildred, if you would take the floor, I'll see if I can get Sheila back on screen.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, my name is Mildred Gamba. I'm from Uganda. Currently, I am in Indonesia. And what I have to say about the coaching program, for me, it was a life-changing moment because as women, we struggle and are still struggling to get coaching roles because most of the times we're not considered as qualified. If we're qualified, we have to be triple qualified more than the men to be given the opportunity. And I am grateful to Sheila and Sheila for having offered us this opportunity, which has opened doors for all of us, especially if you read the book, if you look at our journey, most of us when we came, this was actually all of us when we came, this was our first international experience coaching. But going forward, all of us have gone on to do many more things. Personally, I went on to coach the World Athletics team, the Uganda team, to the World Relays, and that same team that same year went and broke the national record at the All Africa Games, winning bronze medal. And if it wasn't for that program, I do not think that opportunity would have come my way. I later on also went after that program and did the World Athletics Level 1 coaching course, which has also really opened up very many opportunities for me. And I have to say, thanks to Do Me Again, because of that program, a brainchild was born. I started my foundation. It's something I said I was going to do, and voila, I have done it. So to me, that course, meeting the people, some of the speakers, the one I remember clearly was Sheila Hurtig Price, where someone asked her, "You are an Olympic champion, a world champion, a Commonwealth champion. How does that not affect your performance?" She said, "When I get on the start line, I am Sheila Hurtig Price, not the Olympic gold medalist, not the world champion, but just Sheila Hurtig Price. And because of that, it keeps me humble. And every day when I come to train, what I've achieved in the past is in the past. I need to focus on the future." That is something that I use to guide my athletes, but also it helps me in my principles of everyday life, that what I've achieved before doesn't matter. If I cannot repeat that achievement, then my previous achievements are pointless. So, and I'm so glad that with the ladies, all of us, we've kept together. The group might be quiet, the WhatsApp group or the Facebook group, but when something happens, we are all able to come together in one bit. So I am really grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you. You all are an amazing group of coaches. Usually we have athletes on. We've had musicians, movie stars, scientists, and this is a first for Zoom into Books. We've still not been able to get Sheila back on. So maybe the three of you could speak to how you met Sheila in the first place. Because she is an amazing person. Let me see if, no, she's not here yet. How about telling us how you met Sheila and got connected with her? Dumi, do you want to start?
Okay, so I'll go first. Like Sheila said in the introduction, none of us knew who we were going to meet, who was going to run the program. So I received the paperwork from my federation, which is Netball South Africa, and they said to me, "Listen, you've been, one of the coaches that are upcoming in South Africa. You've been with the under-21s. Would you like to attend this program? It's out in Australia at the Gold Coast 2018 Commonwealth Games." And I was like, "Okay, so what do I need to do?" And they gave me the paperwork and I filled it in, not knowing where it was going, how it was going to happen, whether it was even going to happen, I didn't even know. And when I started getting emails, asking for various documentation to be submitted, various forms to be filled in and signed, I started realizing that, hang on, this thing is actually becoming a reality. So when we first all got there, Sheila Croxton here, Sheila Robertson is also back online. When we first got there and they gave us a brief, on what the program was all about and the different topics we're going to engage on, I literally immediately whipped my notebook out. I still have that notebook till this day. Unfortunately, it's upstairs. But if you give me 2 seconds while someone else talks, I will show you exactly what I wrote in that notebook from the 2018 Commonwealth Games in each and every session that we had. Going back to what Mildred spoke about when Shelly Ann came to speak to us. Who was not starstruck when they saw a world champ? we were like, wait, what? Are you coming to talk to us? Who are we that we are worthy of Shelly and Fraser Prize? Like, how? So I think I'll keep it at that for now. Sheila's back. I'm gonna quickly run upstairs, get my notebook, and I will show you guys.
That's great. Sheila, would you like to take over?
Yes, and I apologize. We have been having sporadic outages here, and all I could do was wait until they let me back in. So I gather I missed Mildred, which is really a shame because I'm sure she was lovely. So while Dumi gets that, has the flavor of these women, of their strengths, come through? I would hope, I would expect that. And I guess the last thing I would like to say while we wait for Dumi is that, I mean, I've done a lot of writing in my life and I've got a few books and so on, but there was nothing, this was amazing. It was the most rewarding experience of my professional life. It was an honor and a privilege to tell these stories. And I hope that the people who read them get what I got out of from all the wonderful people. So Dumi's back. You're muted there.
Should I carry on? Okay,
Yes.
so this was the 5th of April, 2018 at 7:30 a.m. in Gold Coast. And Sheila Croxon is the one that opened the session. We had 19 women coaches, 11 sports, 11 countries, 5 continents represented. The objectives of the program were to begin with the end in mind. Number 2, creating a network of support. Number 3, exposure to role models with the hashtag "You can't be what you cannot see." Major games experience, which is what all of us as intern coaches then got from the Commonwealth Games. Professional development, which then meant develop your own professional philosophy, and also learning to evaluate, reflect, and also tell our stories wherever we go. And I guess that is why we are here today. So here's my very famous notebook that I still look after till this day.
I think one of the other things that I'm not sure what came out, but one of the things that's important about all of the women, but in particular, in this case, Mildred and Dumi, is the foundations that you've started as a result of your experiences. And maybe both of you would tell us a little bit about giving back and how you're choosing to do that. And I hope I'm not repeating. Have you talked about your foundations? Oh, good. Who wants to go first? Dumi, you might as well continue, and then we'll go back to Mildred.
Okay, thank you so much. So actually, literally a year before I went to Australia, 2017, I launched the Dumisani Chauke Netball Foundation. And this was at the back of, me just trying to formalize the work that I'd been doing in different communities all over South Africa. So the foundation is aimed at empowering young girls, and we empower young girls through netball. Hence, we are a netball foundation. Netball gave so much to me, opened so many doors for me. And this is how I then chose to give back to the community, to humanity, basically, through netball. So we empower young girls in 3 major ways. Number 1, through netball skills clinics, where we train netball girls and in efforts to improve their netball playing skills so that they can make various teams, be selected, and eventually be scouted and get a netball bursary to then enable them to get an education through netball, which is what I did as well while I was growing up. Therefore, be in a better position for a better life. Number two, we empower young girls through our life skills program. So we've come up with a life skills manual, basically made up of different lessons and life skills that myself and some of the volunteers in the foundation have learned through sport. So we talk about personal hygiene, we talk about communication, we talk about confidence, organizing, planning, time management, self-management, financial management for athletes, because yes, you can be a good netball player, but if you don't have the necessary soft skills or life skills that come with performing in sport, you're going to struggle. And the last one, which is quite important, is our community-based programs. Currently, our community-based programs are in 3 tiers. The first one is where we assist young girls in disadvantaged areas with basic sanitary towels as well as toiletries. Number 2, is our pre-loved techie drive, where we collect pre-loved techies, so we don't call them old, pre-loved techies. We clean them up, make sure that they're in a good, usable condition. We buy brand new pairs of socks, because yes, you can want to teach a netball, teach a player, a girl how to play netball. If they don't have the right equipment, they're going to get injured, hurt themselves, and then, their career is cut short. And then the last one is what started during COVID-19, where most of the girls in South Africa, or kids, basically children in South Africa, learners in South Africa, and probably all over Africa as well, mostly depend on the feeding schemes or the meals that they get from school when they're at school. And during COVID-19, when everything had shut down, that meant those kids and their families were not eating. And that was a huge need that we then chose to address during COVID-19, and we've carried on throughout. So we assist them with food parcels as well, because we know that some of the girls are orphans, and some of them come from child-headed families, and some of them are being raised by their grandmothers. So not only do we teach sport, but we also look after the netball player holistically as a human being. So yep, that is it for the Dumisani Chalke Netball Foundation. We are found on Facebook, Instagram, as well as X, which is formerly known as Twitter. Thanks. Over to you, Mildred.
I think I should have gone fast, because I have nothing to say. Well, like I said, the idea of starting the foundation, I got it from Dumi, especially when I spoke to her, and she told me what she was doing. So before I started the foundation, we were doing a similar project, but with Tatan Banners Athletics Club through the US Embassy in Kampala, where we would do reach out programs using athletics to empower girls. And basically what we did is we would take role models, and these people would share their life stories, how they have used sports to help to keep them in school. And the whole point was, because there's stigma on a girl child when they're doing sports, that if you do sports, you look like a man, you can never give birth, you don't succeed, you don't get married. So we have some, like, for example, Annette Kabasindi, she was the national record holder for javelin in Uganda, and she's now happily married with 3 children. Personally, I was a sprinter, I have a son. And then we have Shida Leni, who we would also use. She's the current national record holder for 400 meters, and she's used sports to fund her education throughout. So those are projects we used to, that was funded by the US Embassy. And then coming and listening to Dumi, I'm like, this is something funded by the embassy. It is not going to last forever. How do I help these girls we are identifying? Because there's a lot of potential. When we would go around, we would see a lot of potential. And our motto for the Gamba Athletic Foundation is achieve your potential. So the aim is to help get the girls and connect them to schools that can offer them scholarships. And the foundation is to be a bridge between the athletes and available opportunities, education, jobs, and scholarships. Although there are so many scholarships in the US that many people don't even know about that they can achieve if they are student athletes. So that is the aim of my foundation. But now that I have come to Indonesia, that is kind of still on hold, and we are working more on one-on-one. So it is still on a small scale, but it is a work in progress. It is basically my retirement plan, and my plan is my dad left us land, we've registered the foundation, and my aim is to build a stadium in Nebi, which is like my hometown. And this stadium is to help the athletes achieve their potential, get coaches in, train the athletes, and maybe produce Olympic champions, provide opportunities to scholarships, provide opportunities to job through networking, and change people's lives.
Thank you very much, Mildred. Articulate as always. Evie, do you have anything I know you've gone off in a slightly different direction. How do you, I know you're giving back in many ways. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, so more recently, it's coming up, well, I say recently, about nearly 3 years ago, I transitioned more into the operations side of table tennis. So I now work a lot more closely, still sometimes in the hall, supporting more so the younger players, but I also now kind of support a lot on the operations side. And one thing that we have really seen as a team is that there is a lack of females still in table tennis. And nearly a year ago, actually, myself and our head of pathway sat down and thought, how can we do this? How can we get more females involved? And we actually have put together an initiative which is now up and running, called She Coaches, and it is about working with talented female coaches within our talent pathway and giving them the tools, experiences to support and develop their own coaching career. We currently have 10 fantastic coaches on this journey with us. We have held camps and they've been on there. We've done online workshops. I've actually used a lot of the practices that I learned from being a part of such a wonderful group, that we actually use that in these coaches. So the first thing we did was set up a WhatsApp group so we can really share the story, share the communication. So although I've sort of maybe have now do a little bit less coaching, I'm very much on the operations side, really pushing for more girls in table tennis, but also for women coaches. I kind of saw and first-hand experience of how important it is having a network of very strong, resilient, incredible women coaches, and how that inspired me to really kind of support and push getting more women coaches involved as well. So that's currently something that we're really focusing on and really pushing in. And I think, again, it's just testament to the work that both Sheila and Sheila did to even get us out to the Gold Coast, let alone still talking and now have a book out. So yeah, it's just fantastic. And I think, again, it's just that daily inspiration that you've given us, Sheila.
Well, thank you. I do want to say that the three of you are tremendous representatives of WCIP. But the other thing, for all the others who are in the book, there's not a one who has not gone on to achieve in different ways, but very importantly, and virtually everybody, in fact, I think everybody, I actually have a lot of quotes here, which I won't, does attribute much of the things that they have done since to the WCIP. So it makes Sheila and me feel, I mean, it was never about us. It was always, and nor was the book. People sometimes think that the author, it's about her or him. It's not in this case, definitely. It's my commitment to tell your stories because they meant so much to me. And it's just been really wonderful to be able to sit at my desk and talk to you and then go back and forth and fix and alter and correct and understand your stories. So it grew. It wasn't just for a reward for you. It was a reward for me, most definitely. And I think Sheila would concur if she was able to. I know she's here. I know she's somewhere there. So that's about it, Kathy, I think. I'm not sure how we conclude
Well,
this.
This was fantastic. It was wonderful to hear these stories and about the good work that you ladies are doing for so many athletes. We've had quite a few comments on Facebook, cheering you on, agreeing with what you're saying, and hopefully we've been able to bring to prominence your foundations and can help in that way. Would any of you all like to tell people how they can get in touch with you? I don't have all your websites posted, but you can go back and put those in the Facebook comments. But if each of you would like to give a brief, how do we get in touch with you? And then we can end. Sheila, you get to go.
Oh, sorry, I was waiting. Oh, for me, I've got, what do I have? I've got a Facebook page. I've got 2 Facebook pages, which kind of got mixed up. Not a great idea, it turns out, but thanks to Dumi, I kind of straightened things out. Through my webpage, Sheila, my email is sheila.robcom@gmail.com. My phone number is area code 613-692-2993, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Evie.
So very similar to Sheila. So usually by email. So it's evcollier94@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well.
Dumi.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, Dumisani Chauke. I am on Instagram at Dumi6871. I am on Twitter at Chauke Dumisani1. I am on TikTok, I think Chauke Dumisani or Dumisani Chauke, one of the two, I'm not sure. Anyone that wants to get hold of me via email, it's chaukedmsn@yahoo.com. Anyone who would like to invite me to go speak at their event, my PR company, Hotla PR events is also on Facebook. Otherwise, you can talk to me directly. I used to be on LinkedIn, but I forgot my password, so I'm sorry.
Dumi, do you still do the television show?
I'm in the news a lot, so I do quite a lot of interviews. I'm not on TV as often as I used to be. I do have a few requests to start hosting podcasts. So as soon as those get going, I will let you know, and we will be talking sports, we'll be talking women coaches, global community. Obviously, we'll talk about the book. And I do have a couple of interviews that are going to be lined up that are tied with the book. In South Africa, this past Sunday, we had on Newsroom Africa, they did feature the book. They were talking, to me, interviewing on various things. So we had the book up there. There's a few interviews coming up as well. I'll let you know about those, Sheila, where I will definitely take the book with me and make sure that we put it out there and we get people buying it, we get people ordering it, and we get people launching it wherever they are in the world. And we can get the global community to talk about women coaches and how we can get everyone else involved in programs like this going forward. So thank you for starting such a great program. Thanks.
Great. And the last word's going to be to Mildred, but I say remembering, and I'm sure you all remember how at the final reception we gave the last word to Mildred, and she said, "You're laughing because you remember." She said, "I've got the stage and I'm going to take use of it," and you did. So go for it again.
Okay, if you want to reach out to me, Mildred Gamba on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So just type in my name, you'll find me. It's at PafiUG1, if that's the username you're looking for. Email is mildred.gamba@gmail.com. If they reach out to me, if you send me a message, inbox me, I will either reply to that. And I have to say, I am grateful for this opportunity. Just also, if you want to hear my lovely voice, we've started a channel, UG Athletics, which broadcasts like the athletics in Uganda. So we're trying to promote that. So whenever there's a trial, we do a live streaming of the events. And on Saturday, this Saturday, there is one as well. So if you just go to YouTube, you will find, or you can look for previous editions that we have posted. And thank you, Sheila, for selling our stories. I always thought I can write a book, but I was always too lazy to sit down and write my own story. And I'm glad when I actually read the book, I'm like, wait, did I tell her that? I don't remember telling her that. But yeah, I am grateful. And I will say what I said at the closing ceremony. Your voice is the most powerful tool you have. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Thank you for the opportunity.
That's great. Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Sheila. It has been an absolute joy to meet all of you. We want to thank all the viewers who joined us. This live stream video will be available on the Zoom Into Books Facebook page, so you can watch it at any time. And in a few weeks, the video will also be uploaded to the Zoom Into Books YouTube channel, and you can be watching for that. Thank you, ladies. Continue your good work, and I hope you'll come back to Zoom Into Books sometime.
Thank you for having us, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.